Obviously there's these great moments that happen organically because you're just doing good. And then obviously there are the moments when you're like, okay, how can I do this to benefit my community? How can I get on TV? These different things. How do you plan those? How do you think about them? What's your strategy around that? So if there's all the pros that are watching here, they're like, oh, I would like to have those opportunities. How do you position yourself so these things just happen?
So there's two prong. We do it the amateur way and we do it professional way. So the amateur way is to write a small like pitch, because right now cleaning is the hot topic. It's newsworthy. Everybody wants to know how to use bleach. Everybody wants to know how to disinfect their home or around their home, right? And who are the experts? It's us. It's our industry. So I feel like now is definitely the times when we are newsworthy, and so we can definitely I kind of leverage that to our advantage. So I would recommend writing a small, very short press release, and it's literally less than a paragraph long, and you introduce yourself and which company you're from, and then quickly establish your authority. What's so great about your company? Did you win the awards? Are you number one company in your town? Whatever, you know, just how many homes did you clean? It's usually like thousands of homes, right? So you can say that. And then the next sentence literally is addressing whatever topic that you're trying to pitch, whether it's like proper sanitation or proper protective equipment or how to use chemicals, whatever is your area of expertise. And then the last is you provide, because all the journalists, they like accessibility, because a lot of times they work under a lot of pressure. So you provide your cell phone number or some sort of like quick way to get in touch with you, right? So if you know, if you like to, I'm available to talk to you. And so literally that little template, and you just reach out to a lot of these news outlets that you have in your town, the newspapers. It works on national level too. Yesterday we were published in Reader's Digest. So it's a national publication. And then the last week it was in Martha Stewart Living and Yahoo News, right? So that approach works locally and, you know, nationally. And then the professional way to do it is to hire a great PR agent. And PR agents are always so nebulous. They're creative folks, right? So they always say like, pay me money and then we'll see what happens. So you really need to vet your agents and really get some good solid referrals from somebody who used them and are very happy with them. And then there should be some chemistry. So they should be invested in your success, like cheering for you, love your cause, love what you stand for. And then they'll like, anytime, you know, they're having breakfast in the morning, the thought will pop in their mind how they can promote you. And that's exactly what happened here with this particular PR agent. Her name is Ruth. We've been kind of developing a relationship and friendship a couple of years now. So it didn't just suddenly happen, you know, and she started supporting my company well before we became like professionally related. And so she comes from journalistic background. So she's been all over the media, in the media. She was a journalist for many years. So she has all these connections. So it's very easy for her to pitch us. And she knows exactly how to do it. She knows exactly what you need to say, how you need to look, when you still go into it. And for journalists, it's like a shortcut. They know they don't have to worry about it. You already pre-vetted, right? So it's a very high success rate for her to pitch it as opposed to for me to pitch it. Mm-hmm. And it kind of has a snowball effect, because once you're on TV, then other people see you, and then they, you know, other journalists will reach out to you. It's kind of cascades there. So those are the two main ways to do it.
Yeah, and so one thing that I found that's worked for us too is, you know, when you're sending out these small little pitches, when you're including your phone number, let them know your availability is at any time. So available anytime, call my cell direct, we'll answer, because you're right, they're often under really big timelines and time crunches. And even if it's not the best story, for them, it's better to have something rather than nothing. And if they feel like they can get back to you. So what this means is, and a lot of people just think this is a one-hit thing. This is not a one-hit thing. You want to start developing a relationship with that reporter or with that journalist. And so that response, so if they send you an email, send it back as soon as you can, because they're going to keep going back and forth. You want to reinforce that behavior. And that's some things that we did when we were out there doing similar pitches for getting on TV and any kind of PR for that matter. But make sure you do that, because if you don't, you're probably not going to be able to make that work. And there's another service out there too, that if you're really curious and you want to go more gung-ho, it's called Help a Reporter Out. So it's called HARO. And so oftentimes that's where journalists go. They say, hey, I'm writing a story on this and I'm looking for a quote from this. And it's just a feed, and you get a feed of all the questions. And as you get those questions, you can go and you can reply. You're not going to win a lot of them because a lot of people are subscribing to these feeds. But you can, if you get good at it and you get some social proof, you can even start to include that in some of your pitches back out to them. Like, hey, I've already been featured by Wired, by TechCrunch, by et cetera, et cetera. And then they're like, oh, they're a credible source. Let's just go with that one. That's some really good feedback though.
Yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah, we use that too successfully. It takes some diligence and hard work, as with anything else, right? You have to consistently reply to these and kind of hone your craft, but it definitely works. Just
one thing I'd like to add to that is we got featured in a lot of different news articles. We were on the front page of the Oregonian with our business and our story that we had. We were in the Portland Business Journal, had an awesome write-up in that. Every single story that we've ever been featured in was just a cold email to the reporter's email on the website. It wasn't like a whole lot of difficult work to do it. I just, basically called up and said, hey, I think, this is something that your readers would really appreciate knowing, and just kind of pitch that little story. It's not as difficult as you think it might be. It just takes you actually just going and reaching out. And you mentioned Harold. The other one I like is a Quoted with a W, QWOTED. That's another really good service to kind of get those, get some good PR exposure. But unless you ask, it's going to be a rare day that they just come and just knock on your door and say, hey, you got any good stories over there? You gotta be proactive.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your pivot, Elena, because I think that's a really big thing on people's minds right now. Obviously, we see that 60% drop for most of our customers using our software. And we know that people using software are ahead of the pack even then. So I can only imagine what the other ones are going through. So talk to us about what are some extra services that you either added or new things that you're offering to your current client base that you weren't before, that you are now, that's making an impact right now?
So one thing that we offered right away is high touch point sanitation. And that basically is around the house and providing, basically sanitizing every single surface that people are likely to touch, like for example, the drawers or remotes or stuff like that, counters, which we did to some extent anyways, but just kind of highlighting it, organizing it into a program, into formats, and pitching that. And we actually offered it to all of our existing customers for free. Just kind of put their mind at ease. I think one of the things I realized almost right away is that a lot of it's informational war, right? So it's you are bad, stay away, you're killing people, all this kind of negativity out there against all of the industries, actually, not just ours, but even ours as well. Even when the government came out and said, you are essential, even when my own healthcare friends said, you are essential, please do not stop operations, there's still a lot of a hysteria out there. And I figured we need to rise up and actually have our own voice too about what is it that we are doing that's helpful, that kind of display how you are essential, and kind of fight back. Don't just sit there and take the beating, right? So immediately, we started rolling this out and actually broadcasting on our own social media and into newsletters to our customers, and then on newspapers and TV as well. That's the first thing that happened. And then the next thing that we offered, it was basically using the disinfection and fogging, right? Sanitation through fogging of the chemicals. So, and we don't do something that has an active COVID-19 contamination or anything like that. It's more prophylactic. We still wear protection. We employ all the best practices. We're using the proper chemicals, but we don't go in when you have, somebody died or somebody got sick, right? So we're just doing the fogging as preventative, as a good practice. So that's another thing that we did, and that resonated as well. And then lastly is when we also had some drop in revenue. Obviously, people are scared, they're nervous. Some people rescheduled. And as they were rescheduling, a lot of them were crying and saying, I'm scared, I'm stuck at home. My kids are, immunocompromised, so I have elderly parents. So I can't have anybody, I can't have you guys in my house, but also I can't even go outside and buy food. I don't know what I'm going to do. Right. So we'll say, okay, I'm so sorry to hear that. We'll hang up. And then that just lingers on my mind. Like, what is it like to be in that position? I can relate to that because my parents are elderly and they are super irresponsible. So they're like lifelong smokers and have all kinds of conditions, right? So I'm really scared for them too. So I was thinking like, what is the safest way to get food to those people? So I started like checking out Instacart and all these other delivery services in Costco and all this. And a lot of that was not available or severely backlogged, or it could be like 1 week. And then I went online, started reading everybody's kind of experiences with the grocery delivery services. And I've seen that, first of all, they're not safe, right? And they're also crushed under this weight of demand. And so they can't cope. And so I'm thinking like, and I couldn't get it out of my mind, like what it's like to be that customer. And those customers, we clean their homes for years. So we care for them. It's not just like a random customer. It's our family. So, and then I figured, oh, okay, so what we're going to do is we have employees who are young and healthy and fully gloved, and they love disinfecting everything they see anyway. So why don't we just send them grocery shopping, right? It gives them hours of work that they need right now so badly. And then it gives our customers something that, we'll just put them two together. And so we've done that. We rolled it out, and that was so well received. And we actually told our customers, if you can't afford it because you lost a job, or you just can't afford it, we'll just waive our fees. We'll just do it for free, and we'll absorb the cost of the delivery, right? We just deliver for free. And so that was very much embraced by both our customers and our community, and they got us on the news again. So it's like, it was a win-win all around.
So I hope you guys are picking up too, just because Elena's in the home cleaning industry, like this is applicable for every industry, especially that delivery portion of it. You guys are out on routes, and we've been telling and trying to teach over the last few weeks of how to create these creative campaigns, whether you're doing a postcard, you're sending a text, you're doing an email, or even calling up your customer and saying, hey, I'm going to be in the neighborhood tomorrow, pick you up, anything. And I think Elena and her business is proof that that stuff actually works, and going out of your way to do some goodwill has a lot of benefits to it. So even if you're not home cleaning, I hope you guys are still taking notes on this.
Yeah, absolutely. That's true. I think everyone needs to look at, what can they do to pivot? How can they continue to serve their customers? Because even if it's not your normal everyday service that you're offering, if you approach it with the mindset of how can I serve, then that's the best way to come out on top and to be able to win.
We had when we had the October 1st shooting here a couple of years ago, it was very devastating to our community. I mean, it never happened in Las Vegas, and it was horrible. So I remember feeling so powerless and just so sad. But then we realized that there's something we can do. So we actually, our company was cleaning first responders' homes and victims' families' homes for I think, I want to say like a couple of months actually, because I know like everybody were working around the clock, all the doctors and nurses, and it was just a complete pandemonium. And so our company paid the wages for the employees, but there was no charge to any of the customers like that. So, and that gave us a lot of kind of consolation. And the fact that we were able to do it through our business was very rewarding to me personally, and it was great for community. So applying that experience over to like this tragedy and catastrophe that we're experiencing now, I felt like we can do exact same thing. So we actually reached out to community and said like, okay, what do you guys need right now? Foster families, what do you need, right? There's a great organization called St. Jude's Ranch for Children. They take the house children who were taken away from abusive families. And I've been there because we've been supporting them in the past. They're an amazing organization. And so I asked them, like, what do you guys need? And they said, we need diapers, we need toys, we need this, we need that, we need supplies, we need like everything. So then I went to our customers. We have 5,000 customers in our database. And I said, hey, can you guys give me some diapers or money so I can buy diapers, right? And a lot of them said yes. They gave us diapers, toys, money. So then we went out and bought them, and we used our community partners, like nonprofits that we normally support. And we said, and also my friends who had to shut down their companies and they have nothing to do right now except for being super sad at home. I said, why don't you guys help me with this? I need your help. And everything just magically clicked. People donated stuff. We picked them up, we delivered them, and it was just amazing.
That's cool.
That was not on the news. It was just like, it was one of those things that we just did.
So I just learning about all these really great, genuine connections that you've been making. What is your advice to viewers watching if they don't know the first place to start when like trying to make these strategic partnerships and do good in the community? How do you just like call them? Do you Google them? Are they through a network? How do you do that?
You just, okay, so you can just go to, there's a COVID-19 communities online on Facebook, pretty much in every city. I know for sure in Vegas, I know for sure in San Diego, and I know for sure in Portland. People congregate there and they all share their fears, their needs. They're asking like, where's food, right? So if you see people asking, discussing, where's food? I don't have food, or I don't have masks. Use your entrepreneurial superpowers to figure out how to get those resources to them, right? That's truly our superpower. If somebody was an employee the whole life, like I used to be, if something's taken away from me, I just gonna sit there and cry, right? So, but as a business owner, I'll just figure out how to get it. So we can do that. We can be resourceful. I know somebody who has fabrics. I know somebody who can buy me like sewing machine. I don't know how to sew, but maybe I'll find somebody who knows how to sew. I pull them all together, just like what we do for business, and we'll make masks, right? So just look at the need, just like with me talking to the customers and they're saying that they're stuck at home. There's no way for them to get the food. I'm like, how can we get food to those people? Oh, I know people who drive and who can go get food, right? So it's just like simple, just like this.
That's awesome. And those relationships, they're gonna stand the test of time. You're in this during a crisis together. Can you imagine what great stuff you can do after this together by establishing that relationship? Now, I think that is so cool and awesome.